totally different day, and you have totally different opponents on the opposite side. We know what Abuza and Nasty bring to the table, especially on the opening map like Vault.
Yeah.
They're always going to be in the power positions, and if you cannot beat them to the spot, you're going to have a tough time.
Yeah, rotation had been the issue for Vancouver early in the year, but that has been eliminated and really just alleviated in the last 60 days or so. So yeah, talking about this Vancouver team, it is all about controlled tempo, but tempo nonetheless. So a lot of pressure to be asserted in a different way than maybe FiveFears have experienced to this point, but it is Vault Hardpoint to get us kicked off. Can the Cinderella story continue? Another major opponent in front of them. And for Vancouver, it's about taking care of business. Get yourself set up in what looks to be a pretty favorable bracket to get to another grand final and do what they have not been able to do to this point this year, win a championship. We're loading on in. It's Vault Hardpoint. We've got the Vancouver Surge and FiveFears for our second quarterfinal. Let's get it on.
Let's do it, baby. Vancouver, FiveFears trying to put themselves into a championship Sunday. Surge spawning on the preferred side for that P2, but it's all about these mid-map fights, and it's Capsule to start it off.
Good first blood. Neptune trying to get a little cheeky through the hole in the floor, and a nice little bit of movement to find fire. Follow up onto Hixie is perfect in Vancouver from the favored side of the map. Will also find P1 time early.
Already have all map control in their favor. A big gunfight win there from Exceed with an AR in hand. Usually not see Mr. McLeod lose those up in personal gunfights, but he gives his team an opportunity, and they do absolutely nothing with it. 0-4 pops a double. Last man standing is Fire. Another clean 4 dead. Still in control of the map is Surge.
Yeah, with 20 seconds remaining, FiveFears have to make a decision here. How much do we want to value playing for a rotation to try to set up for new versus having to play through old due to the time that Surge have found? And how about both things at once? Capsule able to find his way into the hard point. Kind of deters the Surge setup just a touch, and you also get a little bit of a spawn up on the backside of P2. 0-4 trying to handle it. Follow up from Neptune, not able to quite find Hixie initially, but Nasty takes care of business, and Surge are cooking as they try to break into P2. We head on to a Bravia, listen in with the Vancouver Surge.
Get time.
They play through front.
In front.
I team flash Bucking.
Help him.
I stunned my pull.
He didn't block, right?
Yeah, no one's blocking. He's gonna spawn in.
Back. Just I set up Jordan.
Stop broken. Sean, have a pump.
Stop
broken,
Charlie. I'm getting P2 check.
They're gonna be mid, guys. They're gonna be mid as well.
Charlie, we can. One cut on me.
He was left side.
You're so far. P2 tag dead. Telling me. What make me guys? I think twice. I need twice. I'm not P2 check in pool. I'm moving on. I'm gonna go sit down. I'll do it, guys. Okay. I'm looking here. Charlie. Have ball. Don't say anything. One line. Start the line cut. I'm gonna go line cut. I hit once. Line cut silly. I'm trying him line cut. Buzzer. He's silly.
Flip cut Charlie. Yo, Vault. Be search on the bed.
He's out. Yeah, it's not that normal. I'm going top.
Play lights, we spawn out.
Don't see anything.
Behind me mid. Lights, he's going close.
Line cut, guys.
Your line cut, go Bernard. Exceed is close.
I'm watching
I spawned out again.
Line dead. Mid on time. I get snake.
I'll kill him.
Mid.
Time weak fire, one shot.
Watch out, Charlie. Yo, all three front. Take your time. Okay? Don't push me. Yo, two left. We're missing Exceed. Lay down on the pump, guys.
Hell of a start for Vancouver. The comps sound like they're on point, but FiveFears back half of P2 and so far through 3, looking real solid.
Yeah, you even heard Rambo Ray at the end of that, take your time. We were starting to go one by one, and that's not what you want to do versus FiveFears with the ARs hitting like they are. But still, in contention, here at P3, you have the map in your favor to set up properly here at the Money Hill in P4. Crosses being watched, Abuza already finds an opening. You are prepared for this first push.
Yeah, this is what Vancouver does best when it comes down to P2, P4. They are one of the toughest teams to break on those two Money Hills, and you can see exactly why. ARs locking down every single lane. Nasty recognizing there's a threat underneath, but a big win there from Caps. Opportunity to possibly move the spawns around, and Caps is going to do a little bit more than that. Find his way to get another kill inside the hard point, leaving 0-4 by himself, and it just comes down to how long can he play his life while help is on the way.
That was an unbelievable play right there out of Capsule, because obviously he gets called out on the cross. Charlie Hixie jumps down from top art and tries to commit on a gunfight, but when he loses that gunfight, that only allows his teammates to spawn on out, but it still does not matter. Neptune, 14-7, taking over with the SMG. Now a little bit of Michael Myers action. Leads to 3 in the feed. The final 20 is going to be there. You got yourself a little bit of a lead going into our second set.
Not the worst news for FiveFears. You're able to contest some of the time, but more importantly, earn some of your own, and you're making this exit from P4 a little bit more difficult for Surge. So in terms of kind of making the most out of not the most favorable positions, not bad news for FiveFears. It'd be about a 20-point game heading into our second set. Vancouver trying to threaten from topside catwalk.
But FiveFears this time, they're fully set up in towards the middle of the map. They're forcing Surge to try to break through difficult angles. You already at least put yourself in the advantage in the trade fights, but it's still a 2v2 battle. You have cat control. You have the spawns over towards P2's side, but we got to get in the objective.
Not bad from Hicks, able to find one, makes life maybe a little bit easier for the rest of his teammates, but Abuza gets to work, finding a couple. Neptune and Nasty clear the field and get now time again for Surge. Exceed, looking for an early peek, finds Neptune cleanly. And on top of that, Fire also reduces another Surge member from the backside of the play, so a pinch can start to develop. Nasty, the last one left at FiveFears. Look like they're about to handle it, and they do get the trade they need, still keeping this within a 20-point game.
That's a big double kill coming in from Hicks. He secures the one-on-one gunfight to secure the spawn towards the backside, and now he's just creating an extra layer. The farthest player pushed on up. You still want to potentially just fight for this mid-map control, but with that route, you're not going to have the spawns that you want. Vancouver Surge now in the driver's seat to potentially find an early break.
Yeah, Hicksy just trying to force something from the front, thinking there might be an opportunity, but not able to benefit as Surge are able to get their setup completely surrounding this front side of the pool. Neptune 18 and 11, doing whatever he wants. Abuza keeping his cross safe over through the mid pinch, almost able to find two. Weakens up Capsule, that will really just leave Exceed to have to fight for himself, and 04's nade will take care of it. So Surge still spawning close, FiveFears still trying to hit from the front, and actually a couple of nice kills start to come in from the front side of pool. So Abuza is the last one standing, and spawns will move.
And this is beautiful right now from FiveFears. You were trying to at least attempt to hold it from the front side, but now with all that pressure and the gunfights going your way, you were able to flip Vancouver toward the opposite side. Abuza not going to give up though on this final 15. You're able to secure it. And now you have FiveFears trapped in towards the backside of ammo. They need to get out. They need to work all the way to Art.
Yeah, they're kind of fighting this though at the pretense of Surge knowing they want to try to play for the exit. So it's a bit of just a kind of tug of war here on the backside of P2. 136 plays 100. Back over to P3 we go. FiveFears trying to work this through the outer street, whereas 04 has already cut through the middle of the map and found himself the left side of the minimap.
And this is how FiveFears kept themselves into the game. They soaked up a lot of P3 time last go around and found an early break at the P4. It's still only a 30-point difference. Keep in mind that this is an amateur team giving Vancouver a run for their money. 40 seconds here, still remaining at the P3. 04 knows I need to dominate this side of the map, and with 3 kills going down, now we can approach the time.
It's not just an amateur team, Jay. It's an amateur team that had to find a fourth immediately as they found out they were going to come into EWC. Capsule, the recent addition, has been good for them. 136 to 116. Again, the game has been within margins of about 20 points from pretty much the beginning of this, and FiveFears continue to do the job that's required of them over the top of P3. Chance to move across the map. Nasty will spawn out. Now it's just down to can FiveFears win the key gunfights to flip the spawns.
And one person at least makes it across, so Capsule, it's on you. Potentially find an opening. He's going to put himself in towards the Hardpoint, wins a one-on-one gunfight. He still knows that there's another one towards the top, but is not able to get the better of 04. So the spawns are in for Surge. They have control of the map again, and now this is very difficult because all 4 players are set up.
Yeah, and that's another massive moment from Abuza. How big has he been in key moments when it's 2v4s and he's coming away with a couple of eliminations, if not cleanly. A couple of the tags over to Hixie, trying to hit the deck. Neptune on the chase, easy follow-up, and now all of a sudden Neptune can go free to roam.
You cannot afford to give up a full 60 here and allow Abuza to continue to dominate from top art. He's already on 5 in a row, only has 3 bullets left in the clip. It does not matter. He wants to get every 1 weak. But they have yet to been able to contest this hard point and Surge are blowing this game wide open.
Yeah, this is where, again, we've seen Surge in a couple of close maps take a massive late game advantage. It's happening once again. 15 seconds left. It's going to have Surge right around the 200-point mark. Spawns will also move for the last 2 members for FiveFears, so a split spawn situation has our challenger squad looking to play through old and set up around the middle, but that's actually well done. Fire and Hixie finding a couple. That will give them a bit of a cushion around P1.
Yeah, so all that space that you were able to take, thinking that, all right, 2 players are going to spawn out behind us, everyone loses their gunfight, so you're still going to be at the old time, and now Exceed getting a little bit activated. Still only a 40-point difference. You're forcing Surge to work their way through pool because Exceed has everything cut off from Lion.
Exceed, big moment for you right here. Again, changing up his role, wanting to be the guy playing outside the hill. A little bit of damage into 04. Good movement, and it allows an opportunity for Nasty to come over and find the trade. Critical time here for Surge, getting closer and closer to the 200-point mark. FiveFears going to hit a couple of long routes here with 25 to go. Try to surround the hill and then open it up with a couple of clean kills. Exceed for the opener. Fire following up. They have Nasty outside the hard point. This has been really solid for FiveFears in terms of how do you break open P1 and still hold on to P2. Huge from Fire, now working with both weapons as FiveFears get us back to within a 30-point game.
Yeah, that was the biggest win right there from Fire to pick up the OE and secure this side of the map for his team. You win the rotation over towards P2, but already Vancouver have found an opening right through middle map. 2 SMGs just fly on through. All the hard work that Fire just got done is now left in the hands of Exceed.
Good first win from Exceed, trying to get away from the chase, but not able to. Fire will spawn up in the back. Vancouver relatively aware of this as they popped up at mid-map, and how about it? Here comes the rest of FiveFears. 0-4 in the perfect crossing angle. He's taken care of 2, almost able to get the 3rd, but Nasty provides the trade, and Vancouver is still stable inside the hard point.
They can win it here. That's clearing out the back. Now all your focus is towards the front. You can already see on your minimap Abuza creating space. Let me be the aggressor up through pool. Create an extra layer for them not to even contest.
Double hit over through balcony. Abuza able to find one. Fire has to get this trade, but he's not able to, so now it just goes into the arms of Exceed. Trying to play on the backside, but he is weak from that previous gunfight, and it's all individual efforts from here on out for FiveFears. A game that was categorized by about a 20 to 30 point gap, but again, this is where Vancouver loved to play, and that's why. Map 1 rather, going their way with P2, P4 just firmly in their control.
Yeah, especially on that second set, man. The first time when you were at P4, Capsule makes a big time play to make that one scrappy, and the P2, the same thing is what kept FiveFears into the game. But the adjustments come in, the communication started hitting on all cylinders, and crossfires were always being set up. A flawless 60 at the P4. You win the rotation over towards P2 and read every single spawn. When we jumped into the Bravia listening, you can hear how calm and cool and collected they are. The addition of Rambo Ray on the comms with them just keeps these guys level-headed, and it showed on the second half of that hard point.
Yeah, it's a huge addition to have him as a 5th voice in the comms, because we know that this Vancouver team, just kind of watching them over the back half of the season, has been playing with some lightning pace.
Oh, yeah.
And you often kind of wonder, like, does that get them into some tricky spots to where they almost fall apart a touch? But you add Ray into the comms, and he goes, yo, slow down just a touch. Let's get ourselves set up. And then all of a sudden, it's right back to business.
Because you got to think about this Vancouver Surge squad. They're all basically young. They're all just starting their careers. Neptune is rewriting his story.
Yeah.
So you need sometimes to have that veteran presence, and that's what Rambo Ray is able to bring. Calm the young man down. Get them locked back in. And just focus on what you need to do, secure the W at the very end. So Vancouver taking care of business on the opening vault hardpoint. We expected that to be the case because this has been a bread and butter map for them all season long. Now, if you are FiveFears, I know yesterday versus C9, you had to take 2 S&Ds. You're probably going to have to do it again here if you want to beat this squad.
And I think the thing about this scoreboard that I always come away really impressed by with Vancouver is not only is the damage output and the kill-death ratio relatively even, but look at the assist column.
It's beautiful,
Everyone helping each other. Beautiful stuff. So that's through map number 1. Now we take a look at the Search and Destroy. To be candid, Vancouver have faltered in many key moments in the Search and Destroy. And on the other side, FiveFears have looked pretty solid in Search and Destroy. Of course, most notably last night versus Cloud9, taking both the 2 and the 5, one of which was on Dealership, where they looked really good.
Oh, yeah. Exceed had a pop-off moment versus G2, where he goes 13-2, just absolutely dominates them on Dealership. But you just got to be prepared for what Vancouver are going to throw at you, because they also love themselves some Dealership Search and Destroy. They have that strategy on defense where they're consistently shutting down the courtyard push. Abuza, the soul man, over towards A, investing his stuns, investing his nades, and setting up his teammates with the information on what the play is going to be after that. But this needs to be a must-win here for FiveFears. I know they are the heavy underdog in this series, but you are here for a reason, and now it's time to show it.
And just to give you the metrics, you ready for this, Jay?
Talk to me.
6-4 versus Cloud9 on this map, 6-2 versus G2 on this map. 7th in opening duel win percentage, 50%, but they convert every single one of the numbers advantages that they've had. They are 100% in first blood conversion rate. So that's got to be, I think, what you look at here for FiveFears. So again, just play with your advantages. Play mature Call of Duty. Don't get too crazy. Don't get too loose. And make sure this Vancouver team is kind of in front of you the entire time.
And you best believe, even though they're an amateur team, the coach like Rambo, he's going to be able to watch those games back and see what they like to do. Definitely had a VOD review session to prepare for this lineup. I know it's an AM squad, so you potentially want to come in lightly, but no. You have to make sure you're locked in versus whoever is across the stage from you. B-Sport on the opposite side. It's insane to see him up there in that coaching position.
I know
because him and Ray used to play against each other 20 years ago. That's how long they've been around the scene.
Well, now they find themselves squaring up in a different way. Fist bumps are out. Looks like we're about to lock back on in for map number 2. Again, this, I will say, looking at how the series is going to pan out in terms of the maps and the modes, this does feel like a must-win map for the side of FiveFears.
Without question, man, because control can be up in the air. And you heard that 04 interview. He feels like they're back into that honeymoon stage that they found when Neptune was first added to the team. If you remember, they were dominant on everything on protocol. They consistently are getting lost. So you cannot afford to go down 0-2 here if you are FiveFears. They're going to be the team initially to start off on the offense. No trophy systems to work with. Going to do a little bit of a split setup here to just get a read on what's getting thrown at them.
Yeah, it looks like almost FiveFears want to try to catch Surge on some sort of an aggressive pinch through mid or around the back through A. Show a little bit of force towards B and then hold back and see if they can punish any aggressive routes. None are being taken, though, as Surge have also paid their respect and will largely just try to focus on mid-map while Neptune just holds the front line at B by himself.
And 04 almost in a gunfight there versus Capsule, just going to get out of dodge. Capsule's another guy that just spawns into a search and destroy and just pops a double every single time he gets the ability to, but still, time ticking, 45 seconds, 04 strikes first.
And that's big in the middle of the map. Follow up from Fire, trying to force the issue. The rest of the help is here. 04 just trying to delay as long as humanly possible, but Nasty cannot get there to secure his trade. So we'll go 3v3, but look at Abuza. Oh, he's gotten a perfect read on this. Catches Exceed, head bashing a door. Follow up information onto Fire. Try to get the isolation. Well isolated by Fire. Nasty really can't challenge this, and now all of a sudden a 2v2 develops.
And the bomb is edging out towards B. So it's going to be on Neptune on the timings that he's going to take here. The repositioning on the backside of the shack. He's not going to be able to spot anyone on the cross, so this bomb should go down for free.
Gives FiveFears a chance. Neptune is not going to bother checking. Post plant will be set up back through arches, and Neptune's been seen by Fire. They're going to give him a little bit of space to work with, as Hixie's going to watch for an early, late flank. None are developing. Here comes the head bash forward. Neptune able to find one bit of the damage, and yep, just pushes on forward, says, I got you a bullet down. Easy follow-up for me. Got the advantage. And the retake is successful for Vancouver.
The Omni movement right there from Neptune. I have the player weak. Okay, no one's in a position to watch the site. If I win this one-on-one gunfight, should be in a great position to secure this round. Perfect retake there to clear out the backside of their spawn, but it all starts with 04 getting that first blood. And also Abuza being as confident as he was to take all this space away. Because with 30 seconds left, this was their play call.
Yeah.
Let's wrap back, let's go towards A. They're not going to be stacked on this side of the map, but just getting that one kill delays the push, and it allows your two teammates alive to successfully retake for the first round.
And I will say, just to kind of throw this into the mix early, something for you guys at home to keep your eyes on. When Vancouver are on defense, keep your eye on Abuza. He might be one of the best ARs over the top of the A site this year. So we'll see if that comes to fruition later on, as now it's going to be Vancouver on their opening a hit towards A. Already Neptune getting very far forward, but counter nades from the defense will push back and even find a kill. So 04 is a little bit stuck here on the site, needing to find more, but there's Abuza over the top of the A site for one. Exceed in the back of the dumpster area will be pushed off, and that's going to be enough for Vancouver to say, let's reset.
And you could already see Neptune was edging his way on out. They were thinking about a rotation over towards this B site. Now with everything being silent, FiveFears should throw a couple shoulders, gain some info that they're not here. Trying to put themselves in a position to potentially take mid-map away, but it's going to be a battle here at B.
04 able to jump out the window and start getting to work. Neptune just showing a little bit of shoulder pressure, just making sure that there is no challenge onto the bomb planter. And now the post plant. Speed here for FiveFears on the retake, immediately through mid-map. Oh, but Abuza's routes. If this gets read by Neptune, there's an opportunity here for Abuza to come bail him out. And they're going to reset their post plant. They're going to play this on the backside of the site. Will FiveFears have any awareness on this?
Oh, Abuza's able to win the one-on-one gunfight and almost get out of dodge, and 04 at the same time is thinking FiveFears are most likely running around together, but Capsule, with his head on a swivel, rats back towards the DVD store. Secures the one-on-one, you find the trade on Abuza. And that's that you said from the beginning. When they get the first blood, they never lose the round. Tie game now.
I love that call, too, just to hold hands together as a three-man stack at mid. Knowing that there are three post-plant offensive players still alive, they're not going to triple stack arches. Someone's going to hit some sort of a route. So a great call from FiveFears, find their advantages, take care of business. I think most importantly is they do get the chase down onto Abuza before he can escape for garage.
And it was also a big one that Neptune wasn't able to find one of those kills when they were all sending it in towards the dealership. So you kept the numbers on your side, but tie game now. Trophy systems to work with for FiveFears on the attack.
Same idea here, though, for FiveFears offensively. Let's see if we can bait Surge. into trying to wrap aggressively through mid or on the backside of A elbow. Capsule was not affected by those opening stuns and nades that you saw coming through from the defense, but there is no follow-up action. Neptune backing up towards window just to make sure there's no slide out through arches while Abuza plays on the backside of B. Exceed chasing, but tagged. A little bit of trouble here. Semtex gonna hit him in the face, but Exceed still able to find one before falling.
3v3. Now Neptune in position. Potentially shut down this bomb plant, but FiveFears are just gonna wait this one out. They are waiting for Vancouver to potentially try to think that they have the advantage.
Yeah, say Cap's in a good position forward, but Vancouver aware of it. Just double team him out. Bomb was not committed for the plant. Hixie trying to see if he can catch a timing to find a trade. Not going to happen. And then Fire caught from behind as the long route eventually gets into play for Nasty. And so it's Hixie versus his former squad. Trying to pull off a 1v3, 20 seconds, and not a lot of real estate to work with.
They had no information gained. You have no idea what the setup is looking like on that side, but you're at least for now able to spot Abuza, but again, he is aware. Going back and forth, playing the 50-50, and times the slide to perfection. Secures the round there again for Vancouver on the defensive side. And even with Exceed, you know, taking one down with him with the sticky, hitting him in the chest. The slow and steady approaches for FiveFears on their attacks is not working right now.
That shoulder right there from Neptune is everything, because if Caps can stay in that back 10 position, that B site becomes very difficult to retake. But the awareness of Vancouver, knowing that, hey, if we're seeing Exceed push through, there could be another one here. So great discipline from Surge in this chess game, which develops now into our fourth round, and it's going to be Surge looking for a bit of a 3-1 split off Abuza by himself towards A. Looks like we're going to see some possible aggression. A little stun play off of Hixie here. Yeah, stun nade. Let that damage come through. Neptune finds the opening double. Exceed does find the isolated kill, though, on the island.
An instant play call already for Surge. We get 2 gunfights at B. We're instantly going to work our way back over towards A. Now you have the man-up advantage. Potentially all the map control to just get this one down for free. The only player here trying to contest him is going to be Exceed. You hear the glass break. You know that they're on this side of the map. And 0-4, I don't know if he spotted him.
No, I don't. Well, I think the thing was, I don't know. Whoa! I was saying, I don't know if the side of FiveFears saw 0-4, so he finds the crosser, but Exceed is able to find a little bit of bonus off the car explosion, leaving Nasty into a 1v1 with him. Exceed throwing some aggressive shoulders, and oh, he's down now to a single bullet. Just has to try to play out his life a little while longer. There's the regen, gets it fully reset. Info on to Nasty.
Oh my God.
Now it's just down to who hits the shots, and Nasty locks it in. Woohoo, got tight.
Exceed almost pulled that one out of nowhere. And the 2v3, the nade over the top for the car bomb, and just being sneaky in the corner made it a 1v1. But eventually we got to challenge. We cannot allow Hixie to set the tone there. But Nasty gets the better of him. Just keeps salt and pepper in him. Reposition. And when Exceed tries to get on out, he's able to catch him. First offense secured there from Surge.
Pretty comfortable 1v1 for Nasty all the way through. Wasn't sweating whatsoever.
Yeah, Exceed didn't shoot a single bullet.
Here we go. Same setup for FiveFears on this offense. 2 towards the den, 1 at mid, 1 watching for the long pinch. And Surger's sitting here like, all right, fine. Like, we don't really care too much. We're just going to keep Nasty throwing shoulders at office. And as soon as he finds info, yep, put yourself in a favorable spot. That's just a little bit too easy. Nade being cooked, but Nasty catches another. And yeah, this setup for FiveFears offensively is just not working.
Yeah, we can't play slow on dealership. We need to be the aggressives because you're giving up all the map control. And then by the time you try to retake it, you have no positionings, none of the power spots. You're already left in a 1v4 now if you're Exceed.
Able to find the first one and get the regen. Decent opportunity for the second, but just too many Surge members flooding through. And yeah, I would be willing to wager the house that next FiveFears offense, they're not going to make that same 2 towards den, 1 middle, 1 isolated to try to watch some early pinch. It's just not going to happen for Surge. They're just going to keep congesting you in the middle of the map.
Yeah, because Surge have already made an adjustment. They came out in their first defensive round, everyone stacking over towards A, but if FiveFears are going to consistently have this slow and steady approach, we can just have the best AR on this side of the map to lock down this site. No need to worry. So clean defensive round there from Surge as they're starting to pull away here in the S&D. 4 in a row now for Nasty. D, 2 more rounds to go up 2-0.
Yeah, and I know our ops team is highlighting over Hixie because he's 0-5, and they want us to talk about that. Not a good start for him by any means. That'll work, though. Exceed able to find 1 combination with Fire, so an early 4v2, and as mentioned, when FiveFears find first bloods, they don't lose rounds.
This is one you cannot allow to slip away. 0-4 already takes a good chunk of space away. Catches Exceed to Give them a little bit more of a chance here. Bomb is going to be playing, but you're still man down.
Those nades were close, I'm not going to lie. Maybe a second earlier, that does some significant damage, if not finds a kill onto Nasty. 0-4, just trying to find some space. Good help from Nasty. Hold on a second. They're able to find individual 1v1s. Capsule weak. Oh, gets a couple of shots in, but does not matter. A breakdown, a 2v4 in the backside of A, and Vancouver somehow, some way make that come through.
And that's the difference between professionals and amateurs. You're in a 4v2, everyone just hold hands and play the trades on out. The fact that Exceed just edges his way to potentially get some information, gives up his life for free, but 0-4 with the finesse, and Nasty with the repositioning with those SMGs in hand, you can never think that they're not going to have any help. The teamwork always makes the dream work. And now Surge at game point.
4 in a row for 0-4 as well. RCXD in the back pocket, which would make this A site that much more dangerous. Trophy systems out, really reducing a lot of his opening nades, and 0-4's just sending a little heat check, little dance with Neptune as well, and they're gonna dominate that little bait and switch. Help from Abuza to finish this one off, and it's just down to Exceed 1v3.
Gonna back up all the way to the spawn. All of Vancouver are running around together. You're able to find the first one undamaged. 53 HP, get the second.
He's
another 1v1.
Oh, maybe another bullet needed, but Nasty comes through again. And Vancouver speed run their way through a 6-1 search.
It just took way too long right there for FiveFears to make adjustments. You allowed Surge to dictate the game the way that they wanted it to be played. They realize they have gone to the same offensive strategy 3 rounds in a row. You shut it down 3 rounds in a row, and then it's GG because you have no other play call.
Yeah, now it's difficult tenses here for FiveFears as they have to look at a control for what would have to be the first step of a reverse sweep, and they have not won a control yet. We'll step away. When we come back, it's Protocol. Welcome back to the Esports World Cup and our second quarterfinal, where the Vancouver Surge have been comfortable to this point against the Cinderella story, FiveFears, the Challengers team that finished top 6 at Challengers Finals. Only really gifted the spot thanks to some paperwork mishaps by Carolina. They made the most of it though. Getting all the way into the playoff bracket is a stunner. But here in this matchup, Jay, it has not been good for FiveFears to this point.
Yeah, it's been a difference in skill level and teamwork right now. Play calls that are on the side of Surge and how coordinated they are together. Just making the game look so easy. Currently be up 2-0 in the series. Now backs against the wall for FiveFears. You gotta spawn into a protocol control. You have been able to play it one time this weekend. You can see the team stats here. It's not been great.
Yeah, the attacking side in particular is, I think, where the biggest downfall has occurred to this point. You see the team KD there, but here's the bigger news. In 3 controls, they have not won a single offensive round, and on protocol in particular, they haven't captured a single tick yet.
Oh, man.
So that's not good, is the long and short of that kind of statistic. And on the other side, speaking of ticks, how about the offensive pressure for Vancouver this weekend? Not just Abuza, but also Neptune right there with him. You also see 0-4 making the top 8. They have looked really good, impressively so, in course of how they've worked control. And they've done it across a couple of different maps as well. I mean, they played a lot of Vault this weekend at this point, but you saw them and Kitchener look pretty solid on Hacienda, Vault, and Protocol. So no real strangers to loading up to a protocol control.
Yeah, they love themselves a little bit of game mode number 3 on control. Hacienda tends to be their weakest. Vault and Protocol are their go-tos. So being up 2-0 in the series, all momentum on your side. And obviously the stats that just came up on the screen there for FiveFears. They're going to have to do something that they have yet to do all weekend. And that's win an attacking round versus this team.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. See how things manipulate here, because again, for FiveFears, it's been impressive, man. And you just kind of look at the scope of EWC this year compared to last year. Yes, some Challengers teams did beat CDL teams in the group stage, but none of them made it out of groups. This year is a different year, though. The Challenger squads know that EWC is happening again at the beginning of the year. You know your path of how you qualify at the halfway point of the year, and you sit there, you grow, you find maybe the last second improvements that you need to, and we've seen that be a benefit to really, again, making an argument for, all 16 teams that are here. There's no longer that stonewall gap between the CDL top 12 and the Challengers top 4. So it's been fun, but this is a different level of trying to get through top 2 team of the game.
Yeah, and I think if you're FiveFears right now, you're going to need someone to just have a takeover map. And I'm definitely looking at the SMGs on that side. Between Capsule and Hixie, obviously Charlie Hixie has a terrible search and destroy there, but always can have a bounce back for a response to gain some momentum. You need to be able to set the tone. You need to be able to manage the map control and allow your SMGs to just roam free and be nuisances.
Yeah, you need the big game here out of either Hixie or Capsule or both. That puts some pressure onto Exceed and Fire as ARs. Let's be honest, you're fighting up against that guy. Abuza has been a lockdown staple for Vancouver all year long, in particular on control, but who's out of those more flexible ARs between Exceed and Fire going to say, I got him. I'll take the one-on-one. I'll square up, because that's going to have to happen. Here we go. 2-0 up are the Surge, loading on in. Protocol control. Vancouver looking for a swift 3-0 to get him into Sunday at another chance at another grand finals, whereas FiveFears is trying to extend their stay, extend the series. Let's see what we get. Let's jump on in.
They're going to be the team early on to start off on the defense, or actually on the offense. So they instantly have to figure out this side of the map. First kill goes in favor of Exceed, and I love the early play to go over towards B. This is going to catch Vancouver off guard.
Just a touch. They also haven't read that Nasty's playing on the low ground. Nice shots from Fire. Abuza playing in towards the bottom side of PCs. Will regain some defensive ground here for Vancouver, but FiveFears eyes towards B. Looking pretty solid, but Hixie mistimes the route to try to get a bit of a spawn trap in, and simultaneously Abuza has not dropped yet. He was in trouble from the get-go and is 2-0 now pushing forward.
Now Vancouver are in your spawn. You got to take your time on the approach or the exit on out. 0-4, gonna try to assist the Abuza there, but Neptune is here to keep him alive. Already 3 dead in the feed. You were getting those spawns on the back center of the map. Yeah, this is gonna take some time to get out.
Oh, well, Neptune can't quite pounce on 3 FiveFears members standing right in front of him. 0-4 creating some space, stunning himself back towards a little bit more safety, but good isolation, good follow-up. FiveFears gonna tie up the life count and have a pretty solid look here at A.
working on this first segment. The only player on that point is going to be Hixie, but he's able to spot the player working on the pinch, so Abuza gets shut down. Now Nasty trying to work a flank. He's able to win a massive one-on-one gunfight, but that first segment is locked.
Yep, Capsule still alive. Exceed giving him some freedom over through the middle of the map. And so it is just down to Nasty playing forward. Second tick not quite locked as of yet. Abuza clears off Caps, and Vancouver start to again get themselves forward quickly. Hixie's double, reduces the play and has fire on the zone to stop the clock and likely get the second tick done.
And now it's Neptune on the pinch, but he's instantly getting caught by Sapsidle, so second segment is already locked. All of Vancouver are spawning towards tower side, and Capsidle is just keeping them on this side of the map, so time is going to be extended. Vancouver not in the position to contest this, and it's going to give an extra lifeline here for FiveFears.
Yeah, that was a big gunfight right there, though, for 0-4. Stop FiveFears from finding any sort of spawn pressure onto the Surge's defense. But the kills are still looking solid here for the Challengers contender. 15 plays, 11. Quick motion through field side as Capitals looking to try to get some isolation, sees Nasty over the barrel, but he wins that one. And meanwhile, Exceed and Hixie are just trying to play their individual lives on either side of the map. Neither really finding a tremendous amount of success as we're down to a minute 5 on the clock and only a 2-life gap as Vancouver have bounced back.
And I thought Exceed was almost going to be able to edge his way on out. He gets cut down, and you still do have a 2-life advantage. Now, if you are Surges, make your life a lot more difficult to die. Abuza and 0-4 already combined for 2. The bait and switch and the teamwork on full display. Vancouver, 1 life lead now.
Abuza tries to 50-50. The spawn trap gets caught. Couple of kills there for FiveFears, has them out of spawn and looking for a long route out of Exceed. Who picks this up? Who gets a read on it? 0-4 inside tower, does well to catch 1. Exceed's position now known, but he finds 2 eliminations. So now it's just down to how do you play this one out? Lives are slim on both sides. Hixie seen at mid-map. 0-4, does he get traded out here? Sure will by fire, but the clock is becoming the biggest opponent here for FiveFears. 5v4, but only 16 seconds on the clock.
And Exceed has a big one-on-one in towards the tower. He's able to win it.
Here we go.
Exceed making massive plays. No more respawns for Surge. There's only 2 players alive.
0-4 trying to surprise Exceed, but Abuza will drop. So it is just down to 0-4, and he gets slammed out. So how about that? FiveFears, who had not found any offensive success, not even just to win around, but to find a tick of progress, comes out and sets the tone early.
That's beautifully played there from Exceed, man. He understood, okay, my teammates are getting trapped in towards the spawn. I can go back and assist, but if they can get a couple kills, I can spawn trap them on my own right. So he ends that round on 4 in a row. Massive one-on-one after one-on-one. Keeps the live advantage in favor of the amateurs. And they secure their first attacking round of the entire weekend.
Yeah, unreal stuff. Hell of a time to have it, though.
Oh, yeah.
Tell you what, defensively, just kind of to play the other side of the stat line here, they actually have been pretty solid. So we'll see if they can provide maybe a 2-0 early edge to reset how this series has gone to this point. Neptune Abuza, first couple of kills come through. Exceed counters, but does get traded, leaving really just 1 member left alive. That's Capsule trying to fight for his life on the other side of the map.
He's just going to put himself in a corner. He knows at least 1 player coming off the respawn, so they try to play for that first kill, but get some really bad timing, and now the rest of Vancouver, the teamwork, the crossfires, already 3 dead in the feed. Second segment is going to be done,
yeah, we're
and B honestly might be gone.
Yeah, we're chalking that. Trophy system comes down just as the defensive nades try to come over the top. And now it's just down to playing for exits, which even that has not come through yet. Exceed and Hixie will find a couple. Keeps the life lead just marginal for Vancouver. Oh, slammed. Unreal. Abuza with a sub in hand. Puts Hixie in the dirt. And now all of a sudden, it's a 4-life edge, just under 2 minutes to play, and the map is starting to trend in favor of Vancouver as Capsule gets isolated.
Yeah, now they're setting up their teammates for some freebies. The only player who can make a play is going to be Hixie. Works his way through sidewalk and is already behind enemy lines, so it's all about finessing from this point on. Force Vancouver to just not commit on their play, to try to look for you when the finesse is long enough for a clean 4 dead.
Yeah, nice map here out of Exceed. 3 in a row, 15 and 7. Very patiently trying to hold Vancouver in their spawn. Fire ironed up, trying to walk his way over. A couple of tags into 0-4. Nasty trying to push him out as Hixie takes the place inside of lockers, but yeah, he's going to be pushed back as well. So Surge avoiding the spawn trap, and now with numbers can start to make their way forward to A.
Hixie's got to value his life here. 2 of your teammates already fall, but we're just going to try to play a timing game in towards bottom blue, but thankfully the safety net and fire still gives yourself another chance to retake this. Only 2 players from Vancouver currently around that mid-map area. You're also up by 3 lives, a minute left to go.
But you have killed off a minute if you're FiveFears. Vancouver working through the middle of the map. Neptune finds 2. crossfire. Oh, pushed out by Nasty, and now it's just on to Exceed up top. He really can't do too much. Neptune's on the hunt. Exceed, though, backs away, has a chance at it, but little 180 slip and slide from Neptune has him on 3 in a row after a little bit of a slower start, and Vancouver are keeping the clock paused with the first ticket A coming in.
And 14v9, Neptune knows that Exceed is still coming off the respawn and absolutely slams him again. Neptune, Mr. McLeod, this is what he's capable of when he is in flow state. 5 in a row. Now the timing to catch him again with his pants down. Exceed is not having a good time. Second segment, locked.
And the blender. And now a tick progression advantage starts to develop here for Vancouver. And I was going to say, if he gets another one in Exceed, yikes. But regardless, the offensive round will come through. Just comes down to will it be by ticks or by lives. FiveFears trying to battle it out, but Abuza will find the final 2 kills. So 5 ticks earned as Vancouver respond with an offense of their own.
It's a very clean offense there from Vancouver. When you allow Neptune to just get behind enemy lines, the guy has been putting in so much work this season to play his timings to perfection. They extend time early on, about 2 minutes and 15 seconds to just get 3 segments at B with the life count in your favor. Very clean round there from Surge to tie the game.
And yeah, this is just a montage of Neptune beating Exceed in the last couple of moments. Abuza with the final 2, as mentioned, just before that last tick can be earned. So at least FiveFears in the loss will mitigate the potential of extra ticks to be earned, and now back on to, again, the side of the map that they've struggled on. Not the case in round number 1 with that set play over towards B. This is different, though, and 04's got the crossfire set up for 3, just laying on his back. 5 HP in a dream, and it's essentially a 1v3 for 04, now off the reset, trying to join Neptune in the spawn trap, but that's mitigated as FiveFears find a couple of response kills.
Oh, yeah, but Abuza at least finds 2 of his own, so we have information on Fire. He does not like this map. Heard him in an interview yesterday saying, my little brother can spawn in and basically spawn trap me here. 9 and 16 start. He loves to sit top trips window, but you got to get yourself more involved.
Yeah, Neptune is just wiggling around the backside of the FiveFears spawn. Only a 3 life edge, though, to be fair, until Nasty pops up and pops off. And that will keep the pressure away, down to 40 seconds, and the life lead now starts to become pretty significant for Surge.
Yeah, this time Surge are not letting anyone slip on by. Abuza just forcing the spawns over towards that B Street or back in the default at the gun. 30 seconds to go, not a single segment earned, not a single trade in the kill feed. 04 is popping takeover here in round number 3.
Yeah, he's just having it his way.
Hello.
Nick later, how are ya? More coming, but no. Offensive stun locks him into place, 13 seconds, 7 life advantage, but the clock, the biggest adversary right now for FiveFears, as Abuza still tucked in the corner, just looking to keep that clock moving, has help nearby, and that will be a flawless defense out of Vancouver, still retaining 18 lives, up 2-1 here in the control.
Yeah, that was a lot more dominant there from Vancouver to not allow anyone to slip on by. Fist pumps out, they know they are 1 round away from securing themselves a spot on Championship Sunday. Everyone is having their moments. Abuza locking down the power spots. The SFGs having perfect break-off opportunities for multi-kill after multi-kill. And now with your backs against the wall, you have to start to perform. And I'm looking at Fire to have a turnaround round here.
Yeah, it has to. Can he get into position? And that's, I think, the biggest adversary that we've seen is, again, we talked about this. It's just the AR battle, the heads-up fight between both sets of ARs. You look at the names on paper and how they've played so far this year, and you give a huge edge to Surge, and that's coming to fruition in a major way. Also, doesn't help that 04 has been running rampant. He's 25 and 18 for crying out loud.
Potentially the final round of this series. Vancouver back on the attack, and Neptune already starting off with a multi-kill. That's 3 dead in the feed, make it all 4. Progression on a game clock pause, and now FiveFears need to make a tough decision. We have to hit some routes. We don't want to give up early segments.
Neptune trying to dive out the window, not going to be able to. Does see the long route developing, though, for Hixie. So that'll turn the attention of Nasty to make sure the pinch stays safe, and no, he's not able to. So hold on a second here. FiveFears battle back nicely. The first tick does not get locked. In fact, Exceed gets a little bit of depletion in, but 04 showcasing some trigger discipline, but Exceed able to go to a bit of a drop shot, find a kill, and keep the play largely neutral. But off spawn, Surge trying to get back to A quickly. Fire top window pops up just like you asked. Nasty gets the trade, but still FiveFears keep the defense forward.
45 seconds left to go. Caps are now just going to choose a corner, but 04 says, I like that spot, so let me just check it real quick on the hop out, and that's already to that in favor of the Surge. You have mid-map control, but you can already see 04 taking some extra space to allow his teammates to hop right behind him, but he gets caught.
Yeah, lockdown from Capsidal. Hixie looking to make play forward, finds Neptune off spawn. First tick, no, not locked, contested by Fire. He finds the kill onto Abuza. So all of a sudden, after being stonewalled in their own offense, FiveFears are kind of giving Surge a taste of their own medicine here. The life differential is the only thing that really makes a difference between the two at the moment, and as Surge once again worked their way flawlessly out of a spawn trap. Capsidal's on the wrong side of the map to contest the A point, or actually no, that's over towards B. So maybe Capsidal could make a bit of a heroic play. Shut down by Abuza, and Vancouver are going to keep the pressure on to B here.
They have a double stack going to at least guarantee this first segment. That's going to guarantee them, just in case it gets to around number 5, that they have defense. Now FiveFears, they're looking like they're just going to forfeit this. You already have Hixie going on a route. He's able to clear out top 3, but that route is too long. B's already going to be gone.
Yeah, we have to commit to this together if you're FiveFears. Quick trade from Hixie, finds a second one up top in Capsidal. Will try to get in, but not in time to stop the extra 60 seconds from being locked. So a minute on the clock, 3 life edge for Surge. And they're taking their time for the moment. They don't want to get caught by anyone lurking in their spawn.
That's exactly what they want to do. Look for the opening kill. You're going back and forth, you don't find any. A clean 3 dead in the kill feed for FiveFears. You already have Exceed pushed up in towards the archway, and now Vancouver have to check every single corner on the exit. This is going to waste time.
Back and forth we go, trades on trades. Nasty shut down as Hixie has done well to finesse here inside of 10. Fire working with him, Capsidal on the cross. And that might be enough pressure forward to just stop this offensive round before it gets too far away from them. Caps chasing, Abuza trying to fire back, but there's too many FiveFears defenders to deal with. 7v2, looks like we're going to be headed for round 5.
04 kind of slows down this round, and Fire just pops it out by himself. 6 in a row there for the young man. He was unbelievable yesterday, but today is a different day. Potentially just gain some momentum in that round number 4. If he can earn himself this cruise missile, that could play a big part to the result at the end of this one.
Yeah, it really could. I think the question here with FiveFears spawning into the round 5 offense, do they go back to that B set play we saw in offense number 1, which gained them a lot of success early on the top side of the map? On the flip side, what does Vancouver have in terms of their defensive breakoff? Is it going to be as flawless as it was in their second attempt? Questions to be answered very shortly here as FiveFears, backs against the wall, have to have this happen.
If you're Fire, play a little bit more hard for this cruise missile. Hate your teammates, different approach on the attack. Everyone through side work. We're trying to get A out of the way, but that's already 3 dead. Perfect break off there for Surge to just control the map.
And a little bit of a different look. 04's got an AR this time, hops up to gun instead of playing down low with a sub. And Abuza trying to follow forward. Will not really be able to do too much besides reset how the map has gone to this point. Fire, nice shots onto Nasty. That opens up some sidewalk opportunities. Semtex to take its play. Backs Fire off just a little while longer, and 04 just gets back to work here at the middle of the map. But Exceed doubles down, and that gets us to a 1 life difference with 52 on the clock.
Yeah, but we have to start to try to pause this game clock a little bit. It's just allowing the players from Surge to come off the respawn, take a little bit more space away, and not really allow you to have a proper team push, and that's a perfect read there from 04, which leads to 3 dead. Abuza, your turn, and Neptune and Nasty behind enemy lines. Lines up a double, 35 seconds. We gotta get on the objective.
And they can't find Abuza. Oh, mercy. One more elimination comes through, but FiveFears work through the trouble of that spawn trap and find Exceed on towards a shots for 04. Eventually locked in, trade is out. Hixie follows with a second. Should be an opportunity to get back on and stop the clock once more. Nasty over the top. Help from Abuza. Capsule the last one standing. Off spawn. FiveFears spawning towards the B side of the map, and Vancouver have read this. Coming off spawn and matching them in that position. 2 life edge. Big 1v1 here with Capsule, who he's able to find the win. Hixie able to follow for the 4th and final. That could be a stack, could be an extra 60 seconds.
100% you stack that. Extra 60 seconds is going to be tallied. All of Vancouver should be working their way through B Street, but they're playing for a couple exit kills. Thankfully, they're able to walk away with the majority of the fights. 10v10. Neptune with the SMG gets the better of Hixie, not Fire. The only one indoors the middle of the map. He gets called out, but he's stalling time for his teammates to get near him.
Problem is, 04 has found a long route up top through the zip. 9 plays 8. 60 seconds on the clock. between FiveFears and potentially having their keys and dreams crushed. 50 on the clock, and FiveFears just trying to clear out space as they know Neptune's lurking somewhere.
He just wants to value his life here towards Boat. Drops right in front of him for the free double. Instead of pushing up to the spawn, he still wants to assist his teammates just in case they need some help. But now it's time for Neptune to do Neptune things.
What a wrap. The timing of this is perfect. Hixie is in hell. Nasty shuts down the player on the backside, leaving Capsule to try to work for something in a heroic fashion. 04 may have missed a little bit of timing here, but maybe it just benefits him. How things just completely manipulate within a couple of seconds. Fire, the last hope, the last bastion, shut down by Abuza, and Vancouver cruise their way into another Sunday.
The Cinderella story comes to an end for FiveFears. A squad who was not even supposed to be here made the most of their opportunity, put themselves back on the radar, potentially for next season by taking down not one, but two professional teams. But there's a difference between the top four and the rest of the league. Vancouver have consistently been one of the best squads ever since the addition of Neptune. And even though that control was all the way down to the wire, a clean 3-0 is what they had written to move on to Championship Sunday.
Hell of an effort, though, for FiveFears. I mean, all of us on the talent side, I think all of us in the community, we're looking at this like, dude, Carolina, what? So FiveFears gets added and everyone's like, nah. Couldn't even make it top 6 Challengers Finals. What do they really have the potential of doing?